everyone. Pam Heeman, running for state representative in the 110th district, representing Wyoming and in the eastern part of Bradford County. And I want to talk about folks that are on SNAP benefits. So, I was fortunate enough to listen in on a conversation, or actually having a conversation with a couple of folks who run the food bank in Lake Winola. And we were planning a food drive. Wyoming County Democratic Women were planning a food drive before this whole shutdown started. We've been planning it for months, and we wanted to know what types of foods were people really requesting and needing. And so we got a lot of good feedback of things that they were looking for. And then we asked, who are the people that are coming to the food banks the most? And, we thought mostly it was going to be families, working families having a hard time being able to provide adequate meals for their kids and stuff. And we found that not to be true, and it was very eye-opening. We found that the majority of folks that are going to food banks right now are senior citizens. And there's a couple reasons for that. We have gone, sometimes senior citizens have gone years without getting cost of living raises. Now, we've been very fortunate the last couple of presidencies. They've supported cost of living raises. But these folks are having to live with around $1,000 a month. And I don't know how you do that. Currently my mom lives in an apartment in town. She pays around $1,200 a month, but every year it goes up $100. And without, my stepfather had a small investment through a retirement fund through his employer, it's still not a whole lot of money. So, but there are people out there in our communities that didn't have jobs, that had retirement accounts, weren't able to put away money because they were living paycheck to paycheck. Thank God they have health insurance through Medicare, but these people are going to food banks because they don't have enough to live on. And I know there's a lot of young people in our community today that are living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of these senior citizens own their own homes, and they're having trouble trying to pay their property taxes and school taxes. And to be able to make a choice between medications and food is sometimes not a choice. Sometimes, either food goes by the wayside or their medications. They end up splitting their medications to make them last longer, or, things like that. So, and in another situation is with our senior population is we have seniors who have gone through life as a couple, and when they lose their spouse, they've lost that second income. So now they're trying to survive on one income. And a lot of those people are the type of people that are going to our food banks. And that really surprised me. I figured by the time you get old enough, you're a senior citizen, you've worked a good life, you bought a house when you were younger, it's paid off, you have Medicare to help with your medical bills. And I'm finding that's not the case for a lot of our senior citizens in our area. And Wyoming County has a huge population of senior citizens compared relatively to other counties surrounding us. So that's why it's so important that we do these food drives. I'm seeing a lot of businesses right now that that are putting out tables for people to bring in supplies. When I go to meetings, people are asking us to bring in non-perishable items that they're donating to the food pantries. So, Wyoming County has a bunch of sponsored through the government food pantries. There are other food pantries that are out there that are not sponsored by the government. And not that I don't recommend those, it's just that we don't know who's running them. So we would rather go with someone that we know who's running them and knows how to get the food to the appropriate people. So, we went to Unwind for, we got hot cider because we were going to go for a walk with the dogs. And, they had a table in there to donate to a food pantry and the CEO in town, in Tunkhannock. So, people in the community, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, they want to help. They want to help their neighbors. And that's what I've always loved about this area is, we didn't always know whether a person was a Republican or a Democrat. But now it seems like everybody knows whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. And that's caused a lot of disruption. Where before, when we didn't know, we were able to get along as a community and get along as neighbors and friends. But cat's out of the bag with that one. But we have some meddling that's being done outside of the people that are causing us to want to hate each other. And, I don't believe in that. I don't think that's right. But, I'm out there pleading for the folks that who are in need. We're also, the food pantries aren't allowed to ask for pet food, and they're not allowed to buy pet food. But there are some people out there that their pet is the only one that they have a relationship with every single day. And, a lot of pets are ending up going to shelters because people can't afford their pets. And that's a sad thing, knowing that, especially an elderly person that's the only contact with another living thing that they have for the most part of their day. And having to get rid of that pet because they're choosing between food and medications and whether they can pay for pet food. So we're also asking people to maybe help with bringing pet food as well. The food bank can distribute it, they just can't purchase it and ask for it and so forth. So I think that's kind of important too. I know my pets mean a lot to me. They're a part of your family. Some people won't understand that, but I think most people who have pets do. And so I would like to seriously reach out to you and say, folks, please reach out to the food pantries or on November 8th, Tunkhannock is having a huge food drive that is going to only the supported food banks in our county, that's supported from CEO and the Weinberg folks. So I would say, if you can, reach out to them on November 8th. They're going to be across from CVS in the parking lot of Feed Mill Park, and they'll be setting up tents, and all of the food goes to the food banks that day. So the food banks are coming in, they're going to pick up the food that we have donated, and it goes directly to them. So we're just the mediators that are bringing the event together, and then the food banks will distribute the rest. So if you can go out and support the folks that have been working for well over a month to pull this thing together, I would appreciate it, and I know folks in our community that would appreciate it as well. And again, this isn't red versus blue. We need to get away from that nonsense, and let's just focus on our people. And That's what I'm asking. Focus on our people. Donate if you can. If you need help, let us know. We know where to get you help. And we'll just make it work as a community. And that's what we need to do. Be a community. So, love you guys. Thanks for listening. I hope you stayed. I know it's another long video, but, I just want, I want you to see me as a person. I don't edit my videos. One, I don't know how, to be honest. And two, I just want you to see the real me and who I am and what I care about and what I'm willing to do for folks. So, love y'all. Peace out. Enjoy this beautiful weather that we're having today, and be safe, everybody.